Of course, the other part is like your mind is quite busy with your own business and what you could develop more and how you can, where you go. And it's important to remember to take a break. And that's not always the easiest part, I will say, because sometimes it's like you work when it's out of time, and in a weekend and in the middle of whatever. But I love to spend time with my son, and I'm more flexible, I will say.
Hello. Welcome back to another episode of Life and Business, a podcast where we talk about family, love, relationship, life, money, and business, and how all those ingredients get together in a perfect recipe in an everyday life. My name is Rosa, your host, and today we have a very special guest, coach, a performer, an actress, a producer, Audrey. Thank you so much for being here today and having this conversation with us. Tell us, what do you do? Where you come from?
Thank you, Rosa, for having me. It's very nice. I'm from France. I live in Denmark, and I have done a lot of different things. I'm educated as an actress. Originally, I'm an actress. Also a coach. Now I'm a coach, and I'm a director, or I was a director, also a tango teacher and dancer. So that's, let's see, all the activities I'm doing now. And more about myself. I'm 38 years old. I have a son. He's 4 years old. Amazing boy, of course. I love it so much. And I'm focusing much more right now about the coaching part and the tango. Developing my coaching business, and I really enjoy it. And I do life coaching, and I do also business coaching. So it's a bit of a mix. So I also work for a company, and for private people, let's say.
Okay. And tell me how, because you're a woman in business, you've been creative as well.
Yes.
I would like to know, what is your relationship with money? So how do you feel about money? That relationship has transformed about it, because as a creative, and it is a problem, it's a struggle for a creative, it's always the money. And they cannot understand that money and creativity, they can go together. So tell me, what is that?
For me, I always wanted to earn money, for sure. but it has definitely been a struggle as well, to see myself being able to earn money with something I like, because somehow we always, most of us, but a lot of people have this feeling that, okay, I'm doing something that I love, I enjoy. So somehow it's a bit effortless. So, I cannot earn money out of it. There is this belief that we have around the money that is like, okay, I'm like, I should work hard, and it has to be difficult, and you have to do a lot of hours, and you have to suffer, and then you can earn money. Somehow I think this is, at least in my culture in France, it's quite a lot like that, I will say. Of course it's changing, but somehow I carry this baggage with me, this luggage with
It's
me.
the same in Mexico. The same, it's the same in Mexico. You need to work hard to earn money. And I think in Danish culture, even though it's easier to earn money, they also believe that they need to work really hard for it.
Exactly. So there is, I believe that for long somehow, and I was like, oh, but and especially, as you say, as a creative, like as an actress, you're like, yeah, but it's not a real job, that I have heard 1,000 times in my life. Oh, it's not a real job. What do you do as a real job? This is my job. I mean, and then it was also hard to I felt many times I had to defend myself for what I was doing, basically. So somehow the position that the society put us in a way also affected this vision of like the money that you deserve to earn money, and you earn money with what you love, and this is really okay. So for me, it was a struggle, but now it became much more better. Also with coaching, because I'm a coach, but then meaning that I'm also a client, so I get to be a client many times, so I can continue to develop myself and walk on this journey of money mindset, and how can I see the money. So now I see it in a very different way. I will say, like, now it's like, yeah, of course, do what you love and earn money. So
I think that's very important, and get used to it, the idea that it is possible. It is possible to have the money and what you love at the same time, and doing it while you make money. So also, you're a mom.
Yes.
So you have a son. And how is this dynamic of having your own business and having your son?
It's actually wonderful, because I think it has challenges, of course, like everything else, but it is wonderful because I get to pick him up and spend time with him. No one is telling me, okay, you have to leave at 5. I mean, I put my own schedules as well. So this is a freedom somehow. Of course, the other part is like your mind is quite busy with your own business and what you could develop more and where you go, and want to remember to take a break. And that's not always the easiest part, I will say, because sometimes it's like you work when it's out of time, and in a weekend and in the middle of whatever. But I love to be able to spend time with my son, and I'm more flexible, I will say, like that. So it is definitely possible as well to have kids and have your own business, for sure.
For me, it's been, I'm not saying that you need to have children in order to achieve these things, but for me, it has been like a time management. Having my kids has been having good time management. My first daughter, my first business, and I was working when I could also. Like, I had the first year with her and I worked when I could. And then I had my second one and I started another business. And then also I worked when she was sleeping. Like, literally I was working 2 or 3 hours a day. Was this block that you need to work like the 40 hours a week. I was having this schedule where I work 2 or 3 hours a week, and I was doing it. Like, I was having the clients. I am still, but I'm full-time right now. So I started back in January working full-time in business. But back then, like last year, because I have this baby, she's 1 year old, and I was working when she was sleeping. Thank God that she loves long naps. Like, I could work those hours that she slept, actually. So for me, it's been like the time management has been, and also motivation.
Yeah.
Just doing this means that I am doing it to break also generational trauma. All these beliefs, all this like money, scarcity, like you cannot do it because you're a woman. I have 2 daughters. So it's like, I don't want to pass that to my daughters. For me, it's very important not to pass that trauma that I developed with the time. And also that it's given to me from, I don't know how many generations.
A cultural thing.
It is a cultural thing and a generational thing. I think having a business gives you that opportunity to impact not only other people's lives, but also your own blood, your daughters or your son in this case.
Yeah, definitely.
So both you and your partner are entrepreneurs.
Yes.
So how is this dynamic? How does it work?
Yeah, well, it does work. It's well, I think in our case, he has always been an entrepreneur, and I have always been, somehow, because the business I had before in France, I was also entrepreneur. I was owning a theater and acting and directing and teaching, and it was my own business as well. So I have always been somehow in that part. But when I moved to Denmark, it has changed a little bit because, I had this transition period. So of course I got to do small job, working in a cafe, doing things around. that was okay. It was also comfortable for a while to do that. So it was nice. I like the contact. I like connection with people. So for me, everything was positive. It was not a problem to do it. But of course, I had a better, plan for myself. So that's right. That for a while I didn't have any business, any company on my own for a while. But then when I decided to build my own company here in Denmark, actually my boyfriend, my partner, he got like almost a bit scared, like, oh, because he thought, oh my God, we're gonna be two entrepreneur and it takes time to build your own business. So it's not like it doesn't
one
like
day to another, yeah.
another. So of course he got a bit scared and about like, oh, well, our project and about money will be much easier if I was in a company or hire like an employee somewhere. But I didn't want to do that, so it was even not a question. I mean, I tried for a while just because we were in this period of having kind of project that we're like, yeah, okay, maybe I can do that for, I don't know, 6 months or a year, and then I quit and I do, but yeah, it came clearer and clearer in my mind that it's definitely not not that. So actually the dynamic at the beginning was a bit like unstable somehow, a bit moving, because he was like, okay, I'm doing it, I'm building my business. And he was like, okay, yeah, great, you do that. He wanted to be supportive, but I could see he was like, he had fear, and I was like, oh, that doesn't help so much when you start
This is so interesting. I would have thought that he was supported, like he wasn't nervous, because it's like, I am entrepreneur. If I could do it, I don't know. I would thought that having a partner that is entrepreneur will give you more assurance. And the way you're saying is like, maybe.
Yeah, he was more nervous, but I mean, it was just the first, let's see, shot, like the first impression. And quickly after, he was really supportive and then could give me some insight of, if I needed for the business and part. And so in that sense, it was very good also because he's Danish. So, and we live in Denmark. So it was good to help me to open the company as
He
well.
He knew the ecosystem. He knew how to move around.
So helpful, definitely. But yeah, the first reaction was a bit like, whoa, okay, two entrepreneurs, how it's going to work? But actually, of course, it works very well because, yeah, we manage our schedule and but it is definitely, our head is like occupied. We also need to remind ourselves like, okay, now it's time off, let's say.
Yeah.
Time off of work, or like, yeah. And of course, having a kid really make that easier, because you just look at your kid and you want to be 100% there for your kid and enjoy and play. So it helps to put also your hat off, like, okay, business to the side.
Yeah. We leave the business part, so now is the parent or the partner time.
Yes, exactly.
So what about I really love to talk to other immigrants entrepreneurs, because who we go is, it's not the same as starting a business as someone local. Yes. Like living in their own country and like, I'm gonna open my own company, and then they start their own company. Like for us, moving to another country,
yes,
thinking about opening something, or you open something because your professional career didn't go the way you wanted, and then you go through this process. As you said, you had this process. For me, that process was when I moved to Spain. So first from Mexico, I moved to Spain, and then Spain, Denmark. And in Spain, where that was the moment that I worked for a company, I found a job, and I really wanted to go back to the film industry. And I couldn't. I sent a lot of CVs, a lot of messages, like no one answered me. And when it's like, I'm not happy. So somehow I decided to be my own boss and having a company, like a business. I didn't know nothing. besides that, there was like all these fears, all these things that come together. So tell me about that process of
Yes.
opening your company in a country that is not yours.
Yeah, it has been a challenge for sure. I think for me, the biggest challenge was to feel alone, to be alone. Because of course, the difference I had with my first business when I was living in France, because I'm French, so that was my country. So first of all, it was easier, but also I was not alone. We were three people, so I had partner around me to take decision, to do things, to help around. I mean, it was a different story in that sense. So for me, the first thing that scared me, it was like, okay, no, I'm all alone. It's me and me, and I have to take that in. And I love to walk, and I'm quite a good team player, let's say. So I like to walk around people or with people, and also like a thing. It's important to me. Connection are really important to me. So I'm not this solitary, like being on my own and doing my own stuff. It doesn't bring me joy and happiness, and when I do that, if I do that too much. So it's very important to connect with other people, and that has been a challenge as well, because you're like, okay, first of all, you need to understand how you open a company. Fortunately for me, I had my boyfriend who could help me. But of course, the challenge is also like, okay, it's not my language. I understand a bit of Danish, but I'm not enough to feel comfortable to go in this complicated word that is specific for that or that, or like, what does it mean? So it was complicated also for that, just to be able to understand how it works, basically. But I will say for me, the biggest challenge was really this a connection and feeling that, okay, I'm not Danish. I mean, of course I know that, but realizing even more, like, I'm not Danish, so the people I'm gonna reach will not be Danish people somehow, because if they need someone, they're gonna go to a Danish, a coach, a Danish whatever they need. So and actually also to build my own company, I have hired people to help me around to do different tasks and stuff, and they were all expats. I didn't hire any single Danish person to help me do my job, because I also know and feel and know how it is to struggle to live in another country and to build exactly a business in another country. It's somehow you need a support of people who can understand you around easily, that has some kind of sensitivity about what it is to be a foreigner in a country that you're living in, to be an expat. So for me, it was important to surround myself by people who were coming from different horizon, like different countries, and I mean living here but different. It's very important to me to connect with people like that. I have a lot of Danish friends as well, and it's wonderful, and it's not to minimize that as well. It can also be a good help, but for me it was important to feel like, okay, I also belong to I can have the same problematic as other people somehow that are Danish. So I need to find those people to help me,
Yeah.
or to connect, just to connect as well. But I will say the struggle has been more being, that you can feel maybe alone quite fast.
Yes. When you are in business,
Yes.
it can be overwhelming to be alone, and all these thoughts and all these
Yes.
beliefs and fears, and you don't have anyone to talk to, and you have all these ideas. It's like, oh, should I do this? Should I do that? You don't have anyone to talk to. So it can be really lonely. It can
really be, yeah.
And from here, it takes me to the next question, that is investment, because I have learned, especially now that I'm alone. Before I had a digital marketing agency, I had a team. And even though I took the decisions, like I was the head of the business, I took the decisions, I invested in myself, and I keep investing in myself. And now that I'm alone, it's like I invest in community. I invest, like I am a very specific communities where I feel supported, where I can go and cry if I need to. So what do you think, or what do you feel about investing in yourself?
Yes, that's, I mean, for me, it's definitely essential. And I mean, it's what I have done and what I continue to do for myself, invest in myself, in my, how I continue to develop myself to be a better person. I mean, better person, like a person that is the most aligned to who I really want to be. So it's definitely my own personal journey, but it's also something that I help my client with, definitely. I mean, it will be somehow weird as a coach to not invest in yourself. I think it will be kind of wrong. I don't know. But I definitely think it's essential and very important. And more you're going to do that, and more you're going to earn, like, your life, and really live the life you really want. So I think it's essential. And you were speaking about community that you can, and this is, I mean, this is really, really, I think, important. Like what you're doing, it's amazing, because then you really also create that. And I think this is important. Investing in yourself also means like knowing what you need, what are your needs, what is important to you. And sometimes you're like, yeah, okay,
Yes.
so I can do a lot by myself, but I also need to be surrounded by people that inspire me, that I can exchange, that I can share, and then maybe some idea will pop up, and sharing skills and everything. So this is very important that you are doing. You Rosa, in your
We
business.
are doing, I think, and especially we're talking about creatives. I
Yes.
was, before, when I started my business, I used to say it, and right now I say, like, what a belief, what a block I had. I didn't have the money, but I had the time. So I invested a lot of time in my business to grow that business in the first place. And I say it with proud, like I was really proud of it. And now I think back and I said, oh my God, I couldn't have invested in a coach. I couldn't have invested in a program or something. But because I was doing it in the film industry, in the creative, it's very difficult to find support. It's very difficult to find someone who can teach you the creative or the business side of the film and the creative industry. So what I did is, like, I lean up to the coaching industry. I met people there, and I was kind of like connecting the two worlds. So okay, so I have the coaches here, but then I deliver in this industry. And I think that's very important. I think it's missing that support, that inspiration, that
Yes, it is,
that
for sure.
investment in the creative film industry.
It
Like,
is.
people inside this industry, they don't even know that this exists. They just like, oh, I need to work, I need to work, I need to do. It's like, this is the way it is. And
Yes.
then the other day I was listening to a podcast, actually, from the EFM, that's the European Film Market in Berlinale. And the lady, a very recognized lady from the film industry, asked, they had a podcast related to burnout and coaching and the mental health. And she asked the coach, like, how do I know that I need help? How do I know that I'm about to burn out? A very basic
Yeah.
question, but because the industry expects you to work in a very hard way, in a very long hours, and that's the way it is, you don't need support. That's the way it is.
Yes.
So it's just, why is this happening?
Yeah,
What would you, now that you know all these things about the coaching side, what would you implement in the creative film industry?
well, definitely taking time to have, like, yeah, coach around them. Then, I mean, they definitely need coach around them. I mean, myself, when I was in it, I mean, I was not in a film, but I was more, I did a little bit, but not all my career. definitely coach, it's needed around. I mean, to support everyone around the industry. It's like it's very much like, as you say, you have the head in the job, and then it's a bit like this triangle, and then you cannot open it. You cannot open one side, you see, it's just like it's there, and I go like my head down, and I go because I have to work hard and because I have to deliver. And I think it's a bit, I will say it's a bit sad somehow that it's like that, to not have taking the time and see more the human dimension that we have, because it's an industry with human being,
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, it's crazy. It's like human being all over I mean, of course, but I mean, it's based on that. You also, it's what you show, right? I mean, it's like the human being. So it's very important to take care of it. So I definitely think it's like, it will be very, I think it could be very important, and implement a lot of quality of work, and open a lot of doors somehow. I mean, the doors out there, they are a little bit open, but then you let the wind pass and you follow the wind. So it could help to follow this wind, I think, instead of like pushing something.
Yeah, it would, the flow, it would more
Definitely.
effortless
Yeah, effortless.
than
Exactly.
it is right now.
It's so hard, actually. A feeling that doesn't need to be so hard. So just taking this time to show that it is possible, that it doesn't need to be so hard.
Exactly. It doesn't need to be hard in order for you to enjoy it or to live from it.
To live from it, to do it, yeah, definitely. So yeah.
Yeah, I think the coaching. So when I found more coaches and events that I'm putting together, is like when I'm finding more creatives and become coaches, or they are doing the two things, that I'm producers and coaching. It's like, that's amazing, because
Yes.
that means they are opening up their mind, and they're more open to this side of the mindset. And you don't need to be a coach to be in that state.
Of course not. Yeah.
That's for sure. But you definitely need someone to learn from. So having these conversations about, oh, I was a creative, now I'm a coach. And then you can see, I would have done all these things differently in my business if I would have known what I know now as a coach.
Yeah, exactly. Of course. Yes, definitely.
Just to finish the interview, tell us where we can find you. And well, first, how you can help your clients, a skill that makes you unique, and how do you help your clients, and where we can find you.
So I believe I help my client by being really authentic and who, like, the way I am. So now I'm gonna, of course, explain what I mean around that. I'm a very empathetic person, and I'm good at listening. I mean, of course, it's part of my job as a coach, so hopefully I am. But I will say I'm very interested in the human being. And reading people, it's something that I like to do. So it's a bit like, okay, I have someone in front of me who is struggling with a transition, that has lost confidence, and a transition, it can be anything. This is just an example. And then I'm gonna I think I'm by the way I will ask the question, I'm going to try to help this person to realize that there is another way possible, or the way they build, it's there, but then they can follow it, and then they can have a beautiful life. So basically what I deeply believe, I believe in the beauty of the human being. So this is what I can bring into my clients, because I deeply believe into connection and the beauty of a human being in front of me. So I believe on the potential, and that everyone can achieve what he wants. Really deeply, I do believe that. So
Very
I help.
beautiful. Yes. I believe in that too. Everyone has their own special, unique.
Yes, definitely.
Not dream, but that talent.
Yes.
That's something that they can share with the world.
Yes, something they want. Definitely.
And where we can find you.
So you can find me. I have an Instagram, I have a Facebook, I have a mail. So it's a lot of places. But basically, I have a website. I think you can directly go in my website, and it's L'Envol. So L'Envol, it's a French name, which means the flight. So this is, and in a French way, it really means the flight, but it's really poetic in a French way. It's more like also all the birds that you see, that they take the first flight. And so there is something around that. Sorry, this is just a little, because I wanted to mention this name. So the website is L'Envol and -coaching.com.
Okay, so I think it's a little difficult for you to to understand, but we will put it on. It is on the comments, in the comment section. You can find her website, so you can just go and check her out.
The name of the company is L'Envol Coaching, just that you know.
Perfect. So thank you so much for being here and for share with us your wisdom and what you do and all the amazing things, like a talented artist, coach as well. And see you next time.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Bye.